Fireside Chat number 2, Viewer Respect. Let's talk about that. Let's get cracking. Good Moto morning. Welcome to another episode of Kraken's Garage. I'm your host, Eric, and on Kraken's Garage, we discuss all good things on 2 and 3 wheels, plus some scooter and mini moto content as well. Today we have a very special episode. I was interacting with one of the viewers. He goes by the name of Paul G. There's actually 2 Paul G's that watch my channel, so this one's down in Louisiana, and we had a very interesting discussion as he hit a few speed bumps trying to buy his new bike. So let's get cracking. So Paul reached out to me via email and he said, you know, I'm getting ready to buy my dream bike and it's a brand new Harley Davidson Street Glide Special, and his local dealer was clowning him to the point where he looked elsewhere down in Louisiana. I'm not going to point them out. That's between him and his dealer. With that said, he found a dealer that up in Vermont that he wanted to purchase it from, and the trick was how to get it home. So Paul ran into a lot of challenges on how to get the bike home. He inquired with U-Haul about renting a truck or trailer and driving up and driving back, or flying out and renting it one way and driving it back. The real challenge was he had to be there in person to sign the legal documents to purchase it. He could not do this electronically and just have it delivered. So either way, he was making a trip to Vermont in January. So I will read you a couple of his emails and we'll tell the story as it unfolds. Hi Eric, this is Paul G from YouTube. I'm sorry to keep bothering you about this subject, but it has me very stressed out and rattled at the moment. We interacted a couple of times on your channel about this. I've put down over $5,000 on a new Street Glide Special at Wilkins Harley Davidson in Bar, Vermont. I'm now committed and have to fly there between January 5th and the 7th to finalize payment and get the bike. If I have it shipped, it will be a month to get it and cost around $800 plus to ship it. I want to take it home with me, otherwise between the flights, etc., I'll end up going broke. I don't know if the weather is going to allow me to ride it home from there. The only way that I can rent a U-Haul pickup truck and motorcycle trailer is to return them both from the same location that I rent them from. If I get the box truck that would allow me to return it to a different location, it would cost over $1,200, and it would still have quite a ways to go afterwards. I was curious if you had any idea how far down I would have to drive with it trailered before I would be out of the woods to ride the rest of the way home to New Orleans area. Once again, thanks for all the help and advice you've already given me. Any more on this would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, Paul. Paul and I had chatted via email and we talked about timing and watching the weather and storm fronts and cold fronts and heated gear, and his challenge there is down in Louisiana. If he buys heated gear, he's almost never going to use it again. So I shot him an email and I said, give me a call, here's my cell phone number, and he called right away and we had a long discussion, and I'm like, dude, January 5th through January 7th, Vermont, you are going to see snow and ice. That's going to happen. And my advice to you is just have it shipped. Fly out there and fly back and have it shipped and wait a month. And it is what it is. And he's a very determined young man and he wanted his bike and wasn't willing to trust it with shippers and things like that. So he made arrangements to fly out there, rent a U-Haul part of the way, drive it back to where he rented the U-Haul, offload it, and then ride the rest of the way home in the cold. So we had another conversation. I'm like, you know, Paul, that's a long haul in cold weather. You're gonna be passing right by Virginia. Here's my address, swing by, let me know. Got a guest room, we'll get you warmed up, some food and booze in you or whatever you need, and get your color of vision back before you get back on the road. So after all those discussions, I didn't hear from him for a while, and he shot me another email and he said, hey Eric, I've been meaning to write you since I got back from picking up my bike. I ended up flying out of New Orleans to Baltimore, Washington International on Friday around 6 a.m. When I landed, I picked up the U-Haul trailer and drove to Bar, Vermont. I slept there for a couple hours and picked up the bike, drove back to Baltimore, dropped off the U-Haul, and started riding at 10:30 Saturday night. I was freezing my buns off, especially since I didn't buy the heated gear that I should have. Once in Harrisonburg, Virginia, the temperature was 11 degrees. Alexa, what's 11 degrees in Celsius?
11 degrees Fahrenheit is minus 11.67 degrees Celsius.
Alexa, thank you.
Anytime. Literally.
Once in Harrisonburg, the temp was 11 degrees and the inside of my face shield was getting ice and I was unable to get rid of. I decided to stop and take a nap for a couple hours and I powered through the rest of the way home. For the rest of the way and made it home around 10 a.m. Sunday. The last 200 miles were brutal due to the fact that I was so tired. As bad as I wanted to make it home, I was about to get a room and it started raining. This woke me up and I made it home without issues after that. When I was in Virginia, it was cold and brutal. I was close to emailing you to take you up on the offer of making a detour and meeting you. The whole time I was thinking about your advice on having it delivered because of the cold front. I had a GoPro, but it was aimed wrong, so all I could see in the video were my gauges. I'm attaching some pictures, the one of the snowmobile and UTV in the front of the dealership parking lot when I got there to pick up the bike. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience and I definitely would not recommend it. I was able to do 1,000 miles in 24 hours, but I was too miserable to take pics, etc. for the iron butt. I just want to thank you again for taking the time to talk to me about it before I made the journey. You were on my mind numerous times when I was freezing my buns off. I should have bought the heated gear and for sure because of my hands and feet were killing me. The rest of my body was okay because I was pretty much wearing every piece of clothing that I own, including rain gear and leathers. Thanks again for everything that you do with the channel. I hope that one day we'll be able to meet up for a ride, beer and steak. I've also been playing romantic music in my garage 24/7 with hopes that the bikes will start reproducing. If it works, I'll name the Sportster after you. Thanks again, Paul. Paul, I have complete respect for you. I've been there many times where nothing's going to stop me from getting my bike at all costs. You proved that point exactly where I've been at many times in my life and suffered like you did. And I'm grateful that you made it home safely and in one piece. And you got your bike at the price you wanted. As my father used to say, the definition of an adventure is a disaster that worked out. So I would say this trip qualified as an adventure. Well done, my friend. I have a package to you headed in the mail today with some goodies. And again, once again, I have the utmost respect for you. Thank you. I want to give a couple of thank you and shout outs. One to Paul G., the very gentleman I was just talking about here. He signed up to be a Patreon, and I feel kind of bad about that. I would help him whether he was a Patreon or not. I guess he believes in my channel enough to help support it. Thank you so much. RJ of 602 North also signed up to become a Patreon as well. RJ, I thank you. When we cross paths, supper's on me. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate your support. And to all my end watchers, today's shout out goes to motogspot. Glenn has 1,140 subs and 119 videos. He's rocking a 2011 CBR 1000 Fireblade, and he also just recently purchased a 2020 KTM 390 Adventure. He recently did, I call him a mad lad because he recently did a ride with MVDBR, Moto Chick, that's Nat is her name. The two of them just were on a wicked ADV tour that was just a sight to be seen. The Tundra was just whipping the daylights out of them as they were racing through all this rough terrain, and there were several thrills and spills. It was an absolute joy to watch. What I want to say after watching Glenn's channel is his production value is unrivaled. He has come up with the right music, the right editing to make it a very enjoyable, pleasurable experience to watch. This was an easy shout out to make. He hails from Australia and he met up with several of the other moto content creators in his neck of the woods. There's a video on that I'm sure you would like to see as well, where you get to see several familiar faces. I have huge respect for Nat. She absolutely crushed it on her ADV and just was an amazing partner to ride with. So I hope you guys and gals go out and check out their channel. He is top of the heap, and if you like and subscribe to Glenn's channel, please let him know that Kraken sent you. Keep up the great work, Glenn. I'm a huge fan of your content. And with that said, there's my ghost dog, Bourbon. He's here to remind me to wrap up this video. If you would like to become a Patreon, the link is listed down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more in the future, hit that subscribe button right down there in the corner. And remember, folks, go riding. It's good for you. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.